A flying type say switch is not something you usually want to see when running a triple bug team. However, of all the flyers, Jump Bluff is certainly the one that we have play into. These poison jabs going to tear through Jump Bluff. Cerealine, even running a surprise move set of Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace will be lethal if it goes unshielded, removing Jump Bluff from the field of play. When Toxapex does return, Beedrill about to run rampant. Welcome back to the channel. Earlier in the season, I posted a video called All Types of Madness, where my good friend and Discord moderator Cutlass Boy used 18 monotype teams versus the Ultra League meta. We currently have 18 typings in Pokemon Go, and Cutlass Boy, being the mad lad that he is, obtained a win with every single one of these monotype teams versus the Ultra League meta. So a triple dark, triple bug, triple water, etc. For complete clarity, of course, we are allowing sub-typings, because if not, you'd probably never obtain a win. Cerealine, today's featured battler. I apologise if I'm pronouncing that name wrong. I saw that video and thought, do you know what? I'm going to try that in the Great League. And what makes this shoutcast even crazier is these battles are all played above 3000 ELO or Legend rank. I believe we haven't actually got all 18 typings today. We've got 13, however that's still very impressive. And without any further ado, let's get into the battles. And in game one, we are starting off with the dark types. The channel mascot, Shadow Drapion into Wigglytuff. Very, very nice to see the Charmer here, as obviously running double dark. Darks don't usually want to see fairies. The opponent save switches into Dunsparce. We fire off the Crunch and then send out Umbreon. Umbreon, of course, going to be operating as the damage sponge. Umbreon, with his enormous stat product, going to be able to neutralise all of Dunsparce's energy and maintain alignment. Maintaining alignment is going to be absolutely key here. As someone who likes to use Shift Tree, you do not want to see any Charmer whatsoever. I'm not sure if it's the Shadow. It looks like it's the regular Shift Tree, but the Shadow Shift Tree dies in like 4 charms. It's an absolute assassination. The opponent switched back out into Wigglytuff, recognising two things. That Dunsparce's energy is probably going to be more useful against something that doesn't have 2 bazillion HP. And also that Wigglytuff isn't too bad into Drapion, as hardly any Drapion runs Sludge Bob in the Great League. We send back out Drapion, land the Aqua Tail. Cerealine gets a very nice Poison Sting farm down, leaving insanely low. Out comes Marowak. Can we survive that Mud Slap and reach the next Aqua Tail? Or if we're actually one further short, the Mud Slap takes us out, but we have the perfect alignment. The opponent tries their luck catching the Leaf Blade. Onto the low health Dunsparce. Cerealine like, nah, I'm going to continue to farm up. And then he shows the opponent how to make the catch, making a very nice catch back onto Umbreon. We temporarily have the Mexican standoff. Umbreon gets the Snarl farm down and literally just refuses to die despite being insanely low. We survive the Mud Slap, reach the foul play, which at this point is pretty irrelevant as one Leaf Blade will easily knock out. Shift Tree at the double Leaf Blade. The opponent shields the first. The second will be removing them from the field of play, and we're off to a 1-0 start. GG's, and thanks for playing. Next up is the turn of the normal types. Normal only has one weakness, which is fighting. So we're utilising a flyer in the lead to try and combat our only weakness. We pick up a fantastic lead. Pidgeot into Drifblim. The opponent save switches into Morpeko, and we answer with Greedent. Morpeko is a very scary Pokemon. This thing hits like an absolute truck, but Greedent pretty bulky, able to survive the Aura Wheel. We fire off the Trailblaze. Trailblaze isn't quite lethal, and it looks like we're going for the one shield and full Mud Shot farm down. The opponent yet again fire off the Aura Wheel. Greedent does get that farm down, and we've even got Crunch, and I imagine this is going to go unshielded, as most people will run Body Slam, despite Body Slam being a pretty mid move. The opponent near gets one shot. We pivot out into Furfrou, and out comes Pangoro. We've managed to find our only weakness with a fighting type in the back. We fire off the Surf, force a Protect Shield. This Furfrou running Sucker Punch is doing absolutely nothing to Pangoro, as they are double resisted. The opponent fire off the Night Slash. We look to fire off the Surf. The opponent recognising we're at another move. Opt to dump energy. Please don't boost. Thankfully, we don't see the boost. Pidgeot going to be applying massive fast move pressure. We're going to call the close combat. The opponent full sends the close combat. The opponent then resets their debuff. Can they reach another close combat? Oh crap. A Shadow Pidgeot would die from here. Can the regular survive a close combat? Holy cow, just about. Pidgeot, a bit bulkier than I was expecting, and we're able to take that game. Next up is the turn of the Psychic types, and I can see a Shadow Alakazam sighting. Oranguru into Azumarill is a pretty neutral matchup, despite us having access to a move that hits for super effective. You can see a non-stab Trailblaze really doesn't phase the ever-annoying bulky blue mouse. The opponent fire off the Ice Beam. I can't quite believe I'm going to say this, but Azumarill actually able to outpace Oranguru to the second charge move. Azumarill's a very slow, cumbersome Pokemon, taking 15 turns to his cheapest move of Ice Beam. We pause a turn, ensuring the Trailblaze lands on its intended target. Cerulean instantly pivots out into Defense Deoxys, saving Oranguru as a potential sack swap. Dunsparce opting to stay in this matchup, revealing they're potentially weak to counter. They're actually not weak to counter, they're weak to a Psychic type. As out comes Poliwrath, we fire off the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost lands for massive damage. Defense Deoxys has been nerfed this season, taking 6 counters to the Psycho Boost as opposed to the 5 it previously took. Cerulean forced a Protect Shield, happy to invest Protect Shield, blocking up the Icy Wind. We then pivot into Alakazam. Alakazam looks for that counter farm down, which we get. Back out comes Dunsparce. The opponent doesn't want the smoke. They concede the match, and we take that game. In the next battle, it's the turn of the water types. I think water is probably the easiest typing to use. A lot of people actually do run triple water as a serious team as opposed to a meme or theme team. I think triple water just works because you can use a Mud Boy to neutralise that electric type threat, and to cover the Mud Boy's weakness, you can have a lot of interesting subtypings like Pelipper, for example, that will be hitting back grass for super effective, as well as the water ice type, stuff like Lapras, or in our case, Walrein. The opponent switched out of their lead, sent out Gastrodon, and this Gastrodon is about to get hard punished by Pelipper. The Mud Slaps will be double resisted. Pelipper can tank 2 really easily. Cerulean can now massively overfarm before firing off the Weather Ball, looking to remove this annoying Mud Boy from the field of play. Sorry Gastrodon, I'm just not a fan of your body. Back out comes Alolan Sandslash, a Pokemon I like to call Sonic the Hedgehog. We fire off the Weather Ball gets the opponent low, we then pivot back out into Swampert. Swampert fires off the Hydro Cannon forces a Protect Shield. Cerulean more than happy to match Protect Shields and look for that full Mud Shot farm down. I imagine the opponent pivots not to give us any free farm. The opponent does indeed switch out, but Swampert going to do what Swampert does best and spam out these Hydro Cannons at a very alarming rate. The opponent running double Mud Slap. The opponent looks for that Mud Slap farm down. Swampert, despite now not pacing as quickly as it once did, able to reach the next Hydro Cannon, Mud Shot farm down Sandslash, and we take that game. Next up is the turn of the electric types. I think this is one of the most difficult typings to run, especially in the Great League where ground types are also common. With that in mind, we've got grass type coverage all over the place. There's no lunge, we're actually running an energy ball. The opponent say switches into Miltank, we fire off the discharge lands for a lot of damage. It looks like we're just completely happy to sack Galvantula. Little does the opponent know, we had nothing that could hit Superior for any meaningful damage. Out comes Morpeko once again with no Psychic Fang, instead opting for Grass Knot to give us that much needed ground type coverage. Cerulean opted to shield the first move as Morpeko is an insanely glassy mon. We tank the next Body Slam and ouch that hurt. It looks like we're looking for that Thundershock farm down. If only this was next season where Thundershock will be doing 1 more damage. We're forced to fire off an Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel removes Miltank from the field of play and out comes Carbing. There's no shot they know. Come on, this Grass Knot's got to do a lot right. Oh, that was disappointing. It kind of makes sense as that wasn't even a Grass Knot, it was just a Seed Bomb, and Seed Bomb isn't the hardest hitting move. We then send out Electrode, tank the Rock Slide. Cerulean going to say this is an unwinnable game and we are going to concede the match. That's not it for electric types. If at first you don't succeed, you've got to try and try again. Electrode, that put in a very disappointing performance in the last battle, has been benched, subbed out, and in its place is going to be Manectric. My gosh, I cannot wait to use that Pokemon next season, using Stab Thunderfangs with its monstrous attack stat. Take 2, we lead Galvantula into Azumarill. Fantastic. The entirety of the team wouldn't mind getting its paws, claws, what do spiders have, legs, into Azumarill. The opponent's opting to stay in, which is a pretty good sign for us. Hopefully they're double weak to electric. We shoot at the Ice Beam. Cerulean going to return fire with the discharge. As we're a non-shadow Galvantula, 1 discharge won't actually be lethal, but should put him into farm down range. The opponent sends out Drifblim. Holy trainer, I'm not sure on that play. We fire off the next discharge, forcing a Protect Shield. Cerulean stays in, able to reach another discharge, putting the opponent in a very problematic spot. The opponent 2 shield their balloon, and we send out Morpeko. I've already commented on just how glassy Morpeko is. Cerulean, thinking about it, actually tanks the Icy Wind, and a non-stab Icy Wind already gets us well below half health. Cerulean fires off the Aura Wheel. Aura Wheel removes Drifblim from the field of play. Out comes Poliwrath. So on paper, They're triple weak to electric. We've got 3 electric types, but you can already see Manectric's lack of bulk. Holy cow, these counters are tearing us apart. The opponent tries to make the catch back onto a Azumarill. Cerulean going to be removing Azumarill from the field of play with a low defense. Can we survive 2 further counters? Yes, we can. We reached the next wild charge, and actually that game was far closer than it should have been on paper. GG's to both trainers. Next up, the Flyers will be entering the arena. 1 Bastiodon, 1 Carbink, and we are cooked. We'll lead Pelipper into Clodsire. Clodsire could be quite problematic in the endgame if they're running Stone Edge. It's kind of 50-50 now. Earthquake's mandatory, and it's kind of up to you if you're on Sludge Bomb or Stone Edge. The opponent saves switches into Gator, and we send out Pidgeot. Despite Pidgeot double resisting the quick move of Shadow Claw, they've got a heavy pacing advantage in this matchup. You can see we're already forced to invest to Protect Shield. Cerulean over farms before firing off the Feather Dance. Feather Dance forces our Protect Shield back. Despite applying a double debuff to Gator's attack, this move still will be lethal, and of course we can't burn the final Protect Shield, as that would just open up the door for Clodsire to Stone Edge the shit out of everything. Instead of going down the final Protect Shield, we send out Pelipper, get ourselves a very nice energy lead. The opponent opts to send out Mandibuzz rather than having Death by Weather Ball. We full send the Hurricane, forcing a Protect Shield again. We really can't shield this. The opponent fire off the Dark Pulse, gets us low, and we see the combo play into Talonflame, sneaking the Incinerate in the process. Back out comes Clodsire. A lot of Talonflame now don't have Flame Charge, but this is going to be a situation where Flame Charge is very nice, just vamping up our fast move pressure. I think we've always got to shield this move. Do they have Stone Edge? It looks like they don't. They fire off the Sludge Bomb. Cerulean not messing around, just looking to remove Clodsire from the field of play with the Boosted Fly. The Boosted Fly isn't quite lethal. Oh, and we don't get the farm down either. Is this Sludge Bomb range? No, it's not. The opponent sends back up Mandibuzz. Mandibuzz looks for that Snarl farm down, which they're unable to get. We reach the Boosted Fly. Fly puts him in a range where Weather Ball will be very close to knocking out. Come on, Pelipper. Please knock out. No, the opponent survives on minimal HP. If this is a Dark Pulse, we're cooked. It's just an Aerial Ace. Pelipper withstands the damage. We wing attack farm down and take an insanely close game. My gosh, I was sweating heading into the next battle. It's the turn of the grass types. If we saw a Talonflame here, I think it's an instant top left. Although speaking of which, Toxapex isn't great either. Venusaur probably our best response, as the poison jabs are only going to hit for neutral. Both Abomasnow and Shiftry want no part of this annoying toxic nipple. We correctly shut up the Sludge Wave, which is a pretty good start to proceeding. Cerulean going to heavily overfarm before firing off the next Frenzy Plant. Looks to remove Toxapex from the field of play. Down goes Toxapex. The opponent sends out Drifblim. We've got 2 very nice answers for Drifblim, so we say switch into Abomasnow. Interesting that the opponent's opting to stay in here. Weather Ball forces the Protect Shield. I personally would not shield here. Icy Wind won't be lethal, and you can't relieve Shiftry with no shield. The opponent fire off the Icy Wind. We withstand the damage. Out comes Diggersby. Diggersby looks for that farm down. Abomasnow holds strong, reaching the hard hitting Energy Ball. Energy Ball, despite being debuffed, my god, does so much damage. We send back out Venusaur. What happened there? Did we just lose CMP? What the heck was that? I guess we got 1 turn bring in, but that certainly is not a CMP type Venusaur should ever lose. Frenzy Plant picks up the knockout. We pivot into Shiftry. Shiftry going to be shielding up the incoming Icy Wind. I think we're home and dry from here. I think we can just double Leaf Blade as a Snarls. We'll put them in a range where even a resisted Leaf Blade should be lethal. We farm up, throw the Leaf Blade. The opponent looks to call the bait. Cerulean now committing to fast moves. The opponent is so low that I think even 1 Vine Whip will take him out. Let's see. How much HP have we got? Enough to survive and astonish, as 1 Vine Whip wasn't lethal, but the second gets us over the line. GG's, and huge bait call from the opponent. It's now the turn of the ghost types. To try and help combat our obvious weakness to dark types, we have got Annihilate, which will be our counter user. These battles were sent to me a few weeks ago before the Primate/Annihilate com day, so you will notice we're still on the old moveset, which obviously made Annihilate pretty non-existent in Season 20's meta. Looks like we've got some good news for the Primate/Annihilate fans. A Rage Fist energy increase looks like it's being reverted, as Niantic have took it off the Season 21 move rebalance. That Annihilate Dunsparce matchup was kind of a case in point of just how bad Annihilate had become, as that was actually far closer than you'd expect. We send out Drifblim. The opponent's got a Dugong in the back, which of course isn't fantastic for our Balloon, and Haunter just can't tank any moves whatsoever. We're running the double debuff moveset, so it looks like Cerulean happy to stay in, invest Protect Shields, and get this Dugong as low as possible. Once we've cleared this dugong from the field of play, we should be sitting in a great spot, as Haunter's going to fully wall LedsenKatt unless they're running the absolute Hail Mary of a hurricane like a Giga Chad. Although even if they are, by the time they get there, they'll be so low from the Shadow Claw damage, as Haunter is no joke. We're going to farm up play to the charge attack priority. This Mystical Fire will be forcing the opponent's final protection or the knockout. The opponent putting all the hopes and dreams on LedsenKatt. We're going to give him one further debuff before sending out Haunter. And I'm going to start the countdown. I think they're going to top left in 3, 2, 1. Apparently they're not going to top left. I don't really know why the opponent's staying in. This game's signed, sealed and delivered. They actually top left on the CMP tie and we emerge victorious. In the next battle is the turn of the Bugs. Niantic, please buff Bugs. Bug is dreadful offensively. The opponent say switches into Jump Bluff. When you're running a triple bug team, a flying type is not something you're looking to see. But if we had to see one, Jump Bluff is certainly that one we are looking for. Poison Jab, tearing through Jump Bluff. And we're even running a bit of an off-meta moveset of Aerial Ace. If this goes unshielded, it will be securing the knockout. The opponent shows little respect. And Beedrill is about to run rampant. Back out comes Toxapex. Legacy Drill Run does a solid chunk of chip damage. Over half this bulky pest HP. Shadow Beedrill still not done, able to reach the Drill Run on the charge attack priority. Drill Run goes unshielded. The opponent saving 2 Protect Shields for Diggersby. We farm up, catch the Fire Punch, back onto Charger Bug. This is of course a dreadful matchup for Charger Bug. However, we're just going to look to do as much chip damage as we physically can. X's does hit for neutral, but Diggersby very bulky, and you're going to see these X's aren't going to do much, and the Sparks are double resisted. There still isn't quite Fire Punch range. If the opponent's smart, they'll full send a Scorching Sands, looking to remove us from the field of play. The opponent actually settled for the Fire Punch, which will enable us to reach one further exit, and the opponent still isn't shielding. It's kind of brutal that all 3 of our quick moves are going to be resisted into Diggersby's ground normal typing. The Shadow Claws aren't really going to do much. However, we are very spammy. We're going to fire off one further Aerial Ace. Finally, the opponent invests a Protect Shield. Diggersby might be advantageous into the entirety of our team, but 1v3 is a very tall task. We are going to invest the final protection here, looking to force one off the opponent. We're very close to an Aerial Ace on Beedrill as well, so if this Aerial Ace goes shield, I'm anticipating the combo play. There is the combo play. We actually make the Drill Run, and Drill Run easily going to knock out with Beedrill actually KOing every member of the opponent's team. Shout out Shadow Beedrill, one of my absolute favourite mon. GG's. The next typing is Dragon. 1 Ice type, 1 Fairy is going to be G to the G. Although speaking of which, Toxapex also quite problematic because most of the Dragon types are very, very glassy and this thing has just so much bulk. I assume we're running the non-Shadow Dragonite just to give the team some more bulk, but you can see the downside of that is we just don't hit very hard. The opponent throws the Brine, we then see the pivot into Haxorus. Haxorus able to outpace to the Break-In Swipe. Break-In Swipe should be lethal. Oh man. The opponent withstand the damage and reach the departing move. The opponent falls in the Sludge Wave. Despite that being debuffed and Toxapex having a non-existent attack stat, it's still enough to knock out. We send back out Dragonite, get that Dragon Breath farm down. Back out comes Lotix. Lotix going to be greeted with the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw forced the Protect Shield, and we see the pivot into Fracture. Fracture, another insanely glassy Pokemon. Can we one shield and fully Dragon Tail farm down? We need to pray they are so weak in the back. Although I think I'm reaching. We've almost run out of HP. Out comes Magnezone. Wincon probably. Them shielding the first move and us boosting. No, we get the boost. There is no shot. This has got a knockout. Right, Magnezone cannot tank it for shit. No, it isn't lethal. We can't even Dragon Breath farm down. And we take a heartbreaking loss. Oh, that was brutal. Heading into the next battle. Fantastic lead. Any dragon going to be very advantageous. Into the Kentucky Fried Chicken Bird of Death. We stay in. Fire off the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw goes unshielded. A lot of Talonflame now. Don't have the ability to bait with a Flame Charge. Holy crap, that certainly wasn't a bait. The opponent full send a Brave Bird. We then see the pivot into Haxorus. And out comes Machamp. Machamp very, very spammy. Only taking 4 Karate Chops to each of these cross chops. You can see his lack of HP. We're unable to get that full Dragon Tail farm down, so opt to throw the Break-In Swipe, forcing a Protect Shield back. We're actually going all in on Haxorus. Haxorus going to be able to farm down afterwards. We now have no Protect Shields to hide behind. I think Talonflame gets farmed down if it comes back out. The opponent recognises that. Send out Chestnut. Chestnut going to be greeted with the Break-In Swipe. Break-In Swipe forced the Protect Shield. And once again, we see Fracture enter the field of play. The opponent farms up a boatload of energy. Tried to make the catch back onto Talonflame. Talonflame gets farmed down. Back out comes Chestnut. And we are doubled up. We fired the first Dragon Claw. The opponent didn't even throw a charge move. We reached the second Dragon Claw and Fracture is going to clean up. GG's and thanks for playing. And that is just about going to wrap things up for today's showcase. Huge shout out to Sarah Len, or perhaps Sarah Lean. I apologise for my terrible pronunciation, for a very fun, very unique battle submission in the Open Great League. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on my channel, a link to a battle submission form is down below. And as always, a huge thank you to everyone for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.